Might as well go live, go live, go live, go live. I'm going live, I'm going live, I'm going live. I'm according to YouTube, I'm live. Hello, if you watch this live, hello if you watch on hello if you watch this on playback, and welcome to my 31st I Have a Lot to Say live stream on this channel. Now, basically, if you don't know what live streams are, essentially once or twice, or maybe even 3 times a week, I talk about current movie and TV topics going in the movie and TV world right now. And at the same time, though, I'll also be answering any live questions sent during this live stream. And also, if you have a topic you want me to talk about in my next live stream, please do let me know in the comment section below, and I'll probably talk about it in my next live stream or the live stream after that. And at the same time, though, I should say a couple of things off the bat. First of all, I tried doing the live stream earlier today, and my computer is being annoying, so I couldn't actually complete it because I had some quote-unquote technical difficulties. In other words, OBS was annoying me quite a lot. So at any point the stream cuts out during this live stream, I can't control that. My computer's been annoying today. My computer's been really slow as well. So it's not just OBS, it's my computer as well. So at any point I do pause at one point during this live stream and say I don't have a clue what's going on my computer. It's just because my computer's actually been really annoying today, which is kind of annoying for me as well. And at the same time, though, OBS might cut out my stream at any moment. So again, that's out of my control. And at the same time, though, I also live in the countryside, so I might sneeze at any point during this live stream because I have hay fever. And at the same time, though, even though I live in the countryside, I also live next to a main road. So at any point you do hear like a tractor, a truck, some motorbikes, or just a really loud car going past at any point during this live stream, I do apologise about that. It's out of my control. And at the same time, though, even though I live in the countryside, sometimes it feels like I live next to a building site sometimes. Because honestly, there's always some work going on at the houses next to me where I live. So at any point you do hear some like drilling going on during this live stream, and by the way, there has already been some drilling today, so there's a good chance it might. But at any point you do actually hear some drilling in the background during this live stream, I'm sorry about that. I can't control that. It's out of my control, and it is a bit annoying as well. So apart from that, it's been a pretty good day already. Yeah, oh my god, my computer's been really annoying. And I've tried to get the live stream going at 1 o'clock today actually, and now it's 20 to 2 basically. Well, it's not 20 to 2, but it's almost 20 to 2, and I finally got the live stream going. So that's good. Finally, I've got this live stream going. So without further ado, let's get into my first main topic today. And I've got the poster about it already. So my first main topic today is something I was actually going to talk about until I thought about it a bit more. My first main topic today is all about the fact that Venom 2, or Venom Let There Be Carnage, which I will refer to as, has been moved forward. No, not delayed, but moved forward to October the 1st. Now, the reason I wasn't going to talk about this is because I'm not a huge fan of the first Venom film, which was released in, I want to say 2019. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first Venom film. I didn't hate it, but I just thought it was boring to watch, to be honest. I didn't think it was that good. And I also didn't think Tom Hardy was that good in it. I must admit, I'm actually quite a big Tom Hardy fan. I mean, I'm not a big Tom Hardy fan as some other people I know are. But I like Tom Hardy in films as a being. And, you know, I like him as Bane quite a lot in Dark Knight Rises. I like him quite a lot in Dunkirk. I even like him quite a lot in Peaky Blinders. I'm not the biggest fan of Peaky Blinders, but I still keep watching that show. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Peaky Blinders, I still keep watching it. And he's actually really good in it as well. But I didn't love his performance as Venom. I must admit, I didn't love his performance as Venom. In fact, I do actually think the highlight of the first Venom film, I actually think the highlight of the first Venom film is Michelle Williams, and even she isn't brilliant in there. But anyway, let's go on to online a sec. So give me a sec just to jump onto Google. Optical illusion. Here we are on Collider. So this is from Collider, a very reliable news source. Venom 2 release date moved up 2 weeks in wake of Shang-Chi box office success. And I think there's another reason as well, which we'll be going to a bit later when I talk about this topic as well. There will be Carnage sooner than expected. Haha, see what we did there? Because Carnage is going to be the main villain in this film. That's one of the reasons I'm actually looking forward to this, by the way. And I will talk about another reason I'm intrigued into this film, even so I'm not really excited about it. Because I didn't love the first Venom, like I said, but I am still intrigued about this film and whether it will, you know, surprise me in the end. So anyway, let's see what Collider says. Here's something that's increasingly rare these days. A movie's release date actually being moved up instead of delayed. I know, it's amazing. It's great, I'm really happy about it. Sony Pictures announced today that the Venom 2 release date will now be set 2 weeks earlier than planned, as Venom Let There Be Carnage will now hit theatres on October 1st. Previously, the film was set to open on October the 15th. So that's important to bear in mind, actually, because I think one of the reasons this film has actually been moved up isn't necessarily because of Shang-Chi's box office, even though I do think that's the main reason. I think because, you know, Shang-Chi has done well thank the Lord, I don't really like Shang-Chi, I must admit. I mean, I think it's okay, and okay in a good way, but even though I'm not the biggest fan of Shang-Chi, I'm happy it's doing well, because now it means other movies, which I'm looking forward to a lot more, will probably going to come out now, like Bond, maybe not Venom, but Ghostbusters Afterlife, per se, Spider-Man No Way Home, which is my most anticipated movie for this year. So, because of Shang-Chi's box office success, it looks now that movies will be released when they're meant to, and Venom, Let There Be Carnage is an exemplification of that. Honestly, I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy that Shang-Chi's box office has secured release dates for these movies, and even pushed a few of them forward as well. Pardon me there. But also, I think another reason this movie's been pushed forward is because when it was meant to come out initially. Like, this film was meant to come out on October the 15th. And if you don't know already, October the 15th is also the same day Halloween Kills is released, a new Halloween sequel that's coming out, with Jamie Lee Curtis returning, by the way. And The Last Duel, the new Ridley Scott film, starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, also written by them too, by the way. The first film they've written since Good Will Hunting. And at the same time, that film also stars Adam Driver and Jodie Comer as well. And that looks like it's going to be a big film, which will get a lot of audience, which will get a big demographic going to watching it as well. So I think maybe one of the reasons Venom 2 actually moved their release date up is because October the 15th, when Venom 2 was actually meant to come out, even so it says September the 24th on this post, by the way, that's a lie. It was meant to come out October the 15th. But anyway, even so it was meant to come out on October the 15th, I think that's one of the reasons it's being pushed forward, is because October the 15th is going to be a busy day otherwise. And so I think that's one of the reasons they push it forward. But I do think the main reason they push it forward is because of Shang-Chi's box office. Maybe they want to catch in on the fact that Shang-Chi's coming out. I think that will, dominate this month's box office. Then obviously we'll have Bond, and then I think, actually, I've just thought about this one though. In America, this comes out on the same day as Bond. Like, I'm in the UK, and we get Bond on September 30th. Haha! Fuck you, Americans. But anyway, yeah, we get Bond earlier than all these Americans. But anyway, yes, even so, we get Bond a week earlier than Americans in this country. This film's going to come out on the same day Bond comes out. So it's still a lot of competition, actually. And by the way, I think Bond's going to win that weekend in America. I do think it's going to win. Because even so, I don't have much anticipation for Bond, the new Bond film, No Time to Die. Even so, I'm not that excited for it, because it's had so many delays. And I don't think the trailer's been great. But even so, I'm not that excited for it. I think there's still a lot of people that are, especially in America. And, Bond's a huge franchise. And bear in mind, yes, we had the first Venom film, which made a lot of money. I'm not going to lie, it made a lot of money. More than I thought it was going to. It made over like $800 million worldwide at the box office. $800 million. And that's really good, considering this was a first kind of Spider-Man film without Spider-Man in. So that came out, what was it? Was it 2018 or 2019? I can't remember the first Venom came out. But I want to say 2018, but I've got a feeling it was actually 2019. But anyway, get my point. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that I can't believe that it's come out the same day Bond comes out in America. So it's going to be really interesting to see which film wins the box office, because we get Bond on September 30th, so the week after, or should I say a couple of days after. Actually, I'll just go and watch Venom at the cinema. Actually, the day after. God, I'm all wrong with my dates today. But yes, I'm just actually really surprised about that. I think Bond's going to win the box office, actually. So I did think that maybe it was moving itself forward, so it doesn't clash with, The Last Duel's release and Halloween Kills release. Even so, I do think it moved this date forward so it isn't as busy on the same day as October the 15th. Then it's still busy because it's going up against Bond. Bond's been around for almost 50 years, almost 60 years actually, should I say. So that's kind of amazing. That's going to be, well, not amazing, but it's going to be intriguing to see which one wins the box office. I think it's going to be Bond. But yeah, what I really want to focus on though with this topic, actually, I went off a bit topic there because I didn't actually realise it's going up against Bond on the same weekend. But anyway, I went off a bit topic there. What I actually want to talk about in this topic is the fact that movies are now being, and now, it looks like they're going to come out when they're meant to, which is great. We had a full year, which was 2020, one of the worst years of all time. Honestly, we had a full year, which was 2020, where films kept being delayed. There was very little new films, or should I say new big blockbuster films, that came out last year. And now it looks not only like new blockbuster films coming out, but some of them are actually going to get moved forward. We've had Venom 2 move forward. What's next? That's exciting. Honestly, and I do think it is down to Shang-Chi's box office, actually. Maybe not down to the whole October 15th thing, which I was going on about. But nevertheless, that's exciting. I'm really happy about it. And it looks like future movies will be kept in the same release date as well. Fingers crossed that takes place. And yeah, I'm intrigued in Venom 2. I will always talk a bit more about it on this channel when we get close to its release date. But Venom 2 is a movie which intrigues me. Like I said, I don't really like the first Venom film, the first Tom Hardy Venom film. But what intrigues me about this film is the fact that we have Andy Serkis directing. Now, we don't know who Andy Serkis is. He was in, Avengers Age of Ultron, he was in Black Panther, but what he's most famous for is playing Gollum in Lord of the Rings films and the Hobbit films, and at the same time, though, he also played Caesar the Ape in the most recent Planet of the Apes films, which is directed by Matt Reeves. I think he'll actually be going, playing Alfred Pennyworth in the new Matt Reeves Batman film coming out next year. So Andy Serkis is quite a well-known person. If you don't know who he is, go and look it up. By the way, he also did the motion capture stuff for King Kong in Peter Jackson's King Kong, which came out in 2005. Don't know if many people know that. But yes, Andy Serkis is one of those actors which he's one of those really well-known actors which you might not know of. Honestly, he's done so much. He's a really fantastic actor in my opinion. He's actually one of my favourite actors around. But I haven't really got into his directing stuff. I mean, I know he directed that Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle, which is like a Netflix film which came out not too long ago, which is like, it was like a dark version of Jungle Book, because it didn't have any of the songs in there, but it was like Jungle Book but darker. Had like Benedict Cumberbatch doing the voice in one of the characters in there, had like, Kate Blanchett doing the voice in one of the characters in there, which I dare say new from Lord of the Rings. But yeah, I have seen one Andy Serkis directed film before, which was Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. I must admit, I didn't really like that film that much, but the reason I'm interested in him directing this film is a whole motion capture thing. Because Andy Serkis actually, I can imagine him doing something really interesting with this movie. Bear in mind, I can imagine, him doing something really interesting in terms of the motion capture with like Carnage or Venom in this film. Far better than, Ruben Fleischer did, whatever his name was. Ruben Fleischer, the director of the first Venom film, did with that first Venom film. And I think that could be really interesting to watch. And at the same time, though, this one's going to have Stephen Graham in there. If you don't know who Stephen Graham is, he's a fantastic actor. And I always like watching him in films. I always like watching him TV shows as well. And he's going to be in there as well, which is really intriguing. I never thought I'd see Stephen Graham in a comic book movie, but nevertheless, he's going to be in Venom 2. And at the same time, though, Woody Harrelson's going to be the main villain in this film. I can't remember who it was. Oh, yeah, Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed's a fantastic actor, actually. Riz Ahmed was the main villain in Venom 1, though. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't like him in that film. And I'm really excited to see Woody Harrelson in this film, though, because Woody Harrelson is a fantastic actor. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to him in this film in particular. And I think he could be absolutely fantastic in there. I think he really could give a fantastic performance. I've liked him in quite a lot of films. In fact, one of the standout films I remember from was that Three Billboards film. 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I saw that film, actually. He's really good in that. And I think he could play a really good villain in there. And also, by the way, side note here, I think if they kill Carnage off in this film, I think that's a huge missed opportunity. I don't think they will, but I think if they do, it's a huge missed opportunity. But nevertheless, I'm actually kind of intrigued about Venom 2, but I'm not really looking forward to it. But I'm happy that its date has got moved up now to October the 1st, because it means, guess what, people? Movies are finally coming out. Yes, we live in an age where not only movies are coming out, movies are being pushed forward on the release date calendar. Honestly, I'm so excited for it, and I can't wait to see what other movies come out later on this year. I'm not excited for Venom 2, but it is a good sign that movies are finally coming out. And so that's the end of topic number 1 on this live stream for today. So without further ado, let's move into topic number 2. Honestly, the anger which my computer fueled me on earlier today has actually fueled me to get me really pumped up in this live stream. So come on. So come on, computer, you made me angry, and now you actually made me fueled up to get on with this live stream. So without further ado, let's move into topic number 2 on this live stream for today. And my second topic today is all about the Shang-Chi post-credits scene. Now, I actually did my big Shang-Chi live stream yesterday on this channel, and by the way, that actually got quite a few views, more than I thought I was going to. So, thanks for watching that if you have. But anyway, I did my big Shang-Chi spoiler talk on this channel yesterday in my live stream, and I forgot to mention one big thing. The post-credit scene. Now, I actually thought I wouldn't talk about Shang-Chi again on this channel, but here I am, I'm talking about it again. But I can guarantee, this will probably, unless some big news comes out about Shang-Chi next week, but I don't think it will, but this will probably be the last time that I talk about Shang-Chi on this channel. Because one thing I forgot to mention about Shang-Chi was its post-credit scene. Now, spoilers here, in case you haven't seen Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. I'll be giving some big spoilers away here, so if you haven't watched it yet, and you're planning to watch it, but you just haven't got around to it yet, and don't know any spoilers about Shang-Chi, please do turn away now. Pardon me there as well. But anyway, let's talk about the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. So, one of my big criticisms to Shang-Chi, actually, is that it leaves its story open. And I have a similar criticism to Spider-Man Far From Home, by the way, which is a film I like. So it isn't just me being biased and going, it isn't just me saying I don't like Marvel movies for the sake of not liking Marvel movies. No, I've got a similar problem with Spider-Man Far From Home, a movie I quite enjoy. So, my big problem with this film is it leaves its story open. And even in the post-credit scene, it leaves it even more open. Like, basically, you get the end of the film where, you have Awkwafina's character and Shang-Chi walking off into, Wong's magical circle that you see in the Doctor Strange films, and then they go into that big Doctor Strange place and everything like that, and Wong's there, and he's talking to Bruce Banner with Mark Ruffalo there, and we also have Captain Marvel, Brie Larson there as well, and that was all kind of nice to see Bruce Banner in there, and Bruce Banner, who's not Hulk, by the way, and also it's nice to see Captain Marvel in there as well, but it just kind of confused me, that post-credit scene, more than it really should have. Honestly, it's a similar thing. I didn't like that it left it on a cliffhanger, because it did in the end. I know a lot of people say Marvel music exists by themselves, but if you watch the end of this film and watch the post-credit scene of this film, it doesn't exist by itself. They're going on about these 10 rings have been around for so long or something like that. I don't even know what they're going on about, but they mentioned something to do with ancient, and I think that linked to the Eternals, by the way, because bear in mind, what's next coming up in the Marvel release date calendar? The Eternals, coming, November the 5th. So I think it's linked to the Eternals, what they're going on about in the post-credit scene, but it just leaves too much open. People always go about Marvel is all Marvel movies exist by themselves, and you can jump into Marvel whenever you want. That's not true. I've seen plenty of Marvel movies before with people who don't really watch Marvel movies, like I have, like people who haven't watched all 20 odd Marvel movies and then gone in to watch, say, something like, I don't know, Avengers Endgame or Black Panther. And by the way, you might be going like, yeah, but that's Avengers Endgame, Spike. You're taking them to go and see, 20 movies that have come together in that movie. Yes, but at the same time, though, if every Marvel movie should exist by themselves, then technically Avengers Endgame should as well. So don't say that, because that's kind of context in your own statements. So anyway, yes, I went to go watch Avengers Endgame with somebody who hadn't really watched many Marvel movies, had seen a few of them, but hadn't really watched many of them, and didn't really get it. And I don't think that's good, and I don't think, I think we have the same problem here with Shang-Chi, because it just leaves things open. And I think the end of the film leaves the whole film open for the continuation of the story, and it leaves you with a bit more to be desired in there. And at the same time, though, the whole post-credit scene as well. I mean, I'm not even going to talk about the second post-credit scene, because I just thought it was a bit unnecessary. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool, but I better just be explained a bit more what's going on there in the next Shang-Chi film, because bear in mind, we'll get a Shang-Chi sequel now, because this film did pretty well at the box office. So the second post-credit scene is let me going, okay, that's okay. Wait, Shang-Chi's sister's now in charge of the Ten Rings organization. Great. What else do you want me to say there? And at the same time, though, the first post-credit scene, though, it was nice to see Mark Ruffalo in there. It was nice to see Brie Larson in there. But it left me more confused than it really should have. And I think, even if you take that post-credit scene out of the film, it still leaves the film open. And I have a similar criticism to Spider-Man Far From Home, because at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, Peter's identity gets revealed, and that's how that movie ends. Peter's identity gets revealed, and then that's it. We don't know what happens next, and we're going to find out what happens in No Way Home. So I just think it's a bit like, why did Shang-Chi do that? I don't think it needs to do that. And I don't think the post-credit scene was even that good, by the way. But I just wanted to briefly talk about that, because I forgot to talk about it in my live stream yesterday. But I actually just think that the Shang-Chi post-credit scene, and the end of Shang-Chi for that matter entirely, just opens more doors than it closes. And not necessarily in a good way. And I don't know. I kind of wish the post-credit scene explained itself a bit more. Maybe will the Eternals. Maybe we won't have to wait for 2 months and actually, maybe Shang-Chi pops up in the post-credit scene of the Eternals. You may laugh at me there, but I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if Shang-Chi just popped up in the post-credit scene of the Eternals, being like, oh, there he is. And then explained what was going on in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi. But at the same time, though, I wouldn't put money on that. And that's the end of topic number 2 for today. I wasn't going to talk about Shang-Chi much, by the way, because I don't know what else to say. I just thought the post-credit scene was a bit confusing. And I didn't want to say that, though, because I do think Marvel leaves quite a lot of their films open-ended, and Shang-Chi is an exemplification of another Marvel movie that doesn't necessarily exist by itself, because now if you're going to watch these MCU movies in the future, you're going to have to watch Shang-Chi 2 or whatever Marvel movie which explains what's going on with the Ten Rings stuff in the post-credit scene to understand the end of this film a bit more. But hey, that's just me. Anyway, that's the end of topic number 2 for today. So without further ado, let's move. Oh, by the way, that will definitely be the last time I talk about Shang-Chi on this channel. Honestly, it definitely will be. And by the way, I'm a bit all over the place in this live stream today because it's really, really hot right now. We're currently experiencing a heat wave in the UK where I am. So if you're watching this and you wonder why I'm a bit all over the place, it's because, oh god, it's so hot right now. So my head's a bit all over the place. It always gets all over the place when I'm doing a live stream and it's boiling. But nevertheless, I'm going to power through just for you guys. So without further ado, let's move into topic number 3 for today. I've said about 5 times now, but we definitely will move forward now to topic number 3. And topic number 3 today is all about the early reactions for Edgar Wright's new film, Last Night in Soho. Now, if you don't know who Edgar Wright is, by the way, he's directed such films as Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim's World, and Baby Driver, and most recently also started the Sparks Brothers film, which I liked quite a lot, which is still my favourite film of the year so far. But anyway, he's got his new film coming out later this year. I want to say it's coming out in October. Yes, October the 15th. No, it's not October the 15th. Actually, when's this coming out? I want to say it's coming out actually... No, wait, October the 15th. Yeah, I want to say it's coming out October the 15th. I might be wrong there. It might be coming out October the 22nd, actually. But it's coming out in October. And basically, the film premiered at Venice Film Festival a couple of days ago now. Now, there's been a bunch of films that have premiered at Venice Film Festival, actually. We had the new Diana film, the new film about, Diana, that was premiered at Venice Film Festival not too long ago. And at the same time, though, Dune was as well, which I'll be talking about a bit later on in this live stream. But anyway, Last Night in Soho premiered at Venice Film Festival, and it's a new Edgar Wright film, which I'm very, very excited for. It's one of my most anticipated movies for this year, because it's Edgar Wright. He is my favourite film director working today. Honestly, I love Shaun of the Dead, I love Hot Fuzz, I love The World's End, I love Scott Pilgrim. Honestly, Scott Pilgrim, I think, is now one of my all-time favourite movies. I keep going back to Scott Pilgrim time and time again. And at the same time, though, I'm also a huge fan of Baby Driver as well, and I love this Sparks Brothers documentary. And I also love these TV shows he directs, by the way, called Spaced, which is on Netflix. And if you haven't checked out Spaced, what are you waiting for? Spaced is one of the most fun TV shows I've seen in a very, very long time. Then you jump online and look at some of the early reactions for Edgar Wright's new film, Last Night in Soho. So Last Night in Soho is currently holding a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I don't always trust Rotten Tomatoes because, sometimes Rotten Tomatoes, Rotten Tomatoes recently has had a 90% on Shang-Chi and 98% audience score on Shang-Chi as well. And at the same time, though, Rotten Tomatoes also is the same place where Joker has a 68% score, and it's the same place where Jungle Cruise audience score is something like 90%. And honestly, I'm struggling to believe that 90% of people who went to go watch Jungle Cruise really, really enjoyed it, loved that film even. I'm struggling to believe that many people love Jungle Cruise. I might be wrong, and maybe I was the only person in the world that hated that film, but I don't think I was. But anyway, let's move on with Last Night in Soho. So currently it's holding a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see what some of the critics are saying down below. And by the way, this one's got a great cast. Andy Taylor-Joy in there, Thomas McKenzie, Matt Smith, Terrence Stamp, Diana Rigg, and so on and so on and so on. Anyway, let's see what some of the critics are saying down here. Right, this is a bad review. Bad review. Oh God, what are they going to say? Wright and his co-writer Christy Wilson, I pronounced her name wrong, apologize, needs to wash their brains out with soap right away. What the hell does that mean? Apparently he's a top critic as well. He's a top critic on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow, okay. I don't know what that meant. That was rubbish. Okay, let's see what Robbie Collins said. I know who Robbie Collins is. I've actually watched a couple of his reviews because he stands for Kermode on the Kermode Mail show, which I often listen to every now and then. Okay, Wright, he talked about Edgar Wright there. Edgar Wright is both a gifted stylist and a master technician, and Soho moves as smoothly as a Maglevan train. I might be saying that wrong, gliding on an invisible cousin of its own fictitious craft. Well, that's a good review. I like that. Oh, I like the words that Robbie Collins used there. And let's look at a bad review here from David Jenkins. A Spark Entertainment whose tricksy hopscotching screenplay sadly fills out by its final act. And let's see what another good review says here. I also look some other reviews as well, which I've got already loaded up here. The elusive dream flick was more a fun watch than a scary horror pick. That's not a bad thing. I don't always like horror films, I've got to admit that, because I don't like being scared. And, oh God, have I made it so you guys can actually see what I'm looking at? Yes, I have, so I don't. Sometimes I forget if I've even moved on to the right slide on the live stream. Sometimes it's all over the place while I live stream like I am today. But anyways, I'm powering through just for you guys. But yes, going back to what I was saying here. Yes, I like an enjoyable film more than a horror film. I don't like always being scared. That's one of the reasons I don't like watching so many horror films. And it'll be fine if this film is more enjoyable than it is scary. That won't bother me that much. But let's see what some other early reactions were saying as well. So this is another page on Rotten Tomatoes. Is Last Night in Soho as entertaining as it looks? And this is what some people are saying. Wickedly entertaining, immensely pleasurable, immensely entertaining. A piece that offers such intoxicating entertainment. However, there's also one bad one here from Jessica Lang from the playlist. Why the hell isn't it more fun? So maybe this isn't everyone's cup of tea, this movie. I mean, all films are subjective, and maybe this film isn't loved by everyone. But anyway, let's move on to some other reactions. It's a riotous, rascally hybrid of a thing. What kind of movie can we expect? On the move down here, going down here, see what else it says. Does it work as a horror movie? It's generally scary. That's what Jason Solomon says from the Wrap. And then another review says, horror heads are unlikely to find it particularly scary. From Variety, that's a review from Variety. But here we have one which I'm intrigued about. Will Edgar Wright fans enjoy it? I'm an Edgar Wright fan, and I'm intrigued what people are going to say here. Last Night in Soho is pure Wright all the way. And it worked to a startlingly successful degree. That's from Deadline Hollywood Daily. Wright directs with his familiar energy and introduces some comic elements. Well, that's interesting. I didn't think this movie was actually that comically entertaining, but well, I suppose it is. This is by far the director's best film since his Shaun the Dead debuted. That's exciting. Bloody hell, if it is his best film since Shaun the Dead, then I'm very, very excited, because I love... I don't love Shaun the Dead, actually. I do love Shaun the Dead, but I don't love it as much as Hot Fuzz. But if you're saying it's as good as Shaun the Dead, then I'm very, very excited, because I do think Shaun the Dead is one of Edgar Wright's better films. But anyway, Last Night in Soho manages to continuously raise the bar for its storyteller. It can be very funny with Wright's trademark wit. That's all really good. Let's move on to some other reviews on some other channels here, or some other, not other channels, sorry, some other pages, some other tabs that I've opened. IndieWire says this: left behind is Wright's trademark hyperactive editing and insistent postmodernism. In its place is following movement and intense emotion. It's not just different from his previous films, it's different from everyone else's previous films. Ooh, Last Night in Soho is still an intoxicating, distinctive, delirious creation that soars out of every pigeonhole you put it in. Last Night in Soho twists and turns between being a perky sitcom about the hustlers of student life to a rollicking time travel romance to a full-on horror movie. That's all exciting. I love how film changes genres, and I think Edgar Wright did that really well with Baby Driver. Like, I think that film changed like a heist film to like an almost love story in a very, very good way, in my opinion. And I also, I love Edgar Wright films in general. But anyway, and I do mean for law. Not all of the jokes are brand new, and not all of the plotting stands up to inspection, but the skill with which Wright navigates between tones and time periods is exceptional. So that's what IndieWire says. Let's move on to a review from Deadline. Leave it to Edgar Wright to play with genre expectations and deliver yet another delightfully off-kilter thriller that also thrills with its undeniably tippy atmosphere and blasts to the past of swinging 60s London. A more vibrant and exciting addition to the genre would be hard to find. Mackenzie makes the most of this full-blown starring role well out of whack with what we have seen her to date, and brings it home. Taylor-Joy is a perfect counterpart to Elsie. Smith is properly gangster. I don't even know what that word is. You get the point. Anyway, guess that's another good review from Deadline. So let's move on to a bad review, though. This is a bad review from the Times. I do take a grain of salt there because it's from the Times. Last Night in Soho review: 60s horror is mad, bad, and dangerously dull. Okay, so this is what they're saying. Gave it 1 star. Bloody hell, that's not great, actually. 1 star. I thought at least get a 2, because I think the cinematography looks pretty good in actually, but maybe that's just a trailer. But anyway, only days into Venice Film Festival, and after some masterpieces and some disappointments, okay, this person didn't like Dune as well, so I'm taking his opinion with a huge grain of salt here. We finally hit bottom with his witless bum number from Edgar Wright. Shaun the Dead. Okay, it's billed as a swinging 60s influenced psychological horror in the vein of Repulsion, Peeping Tom, and Vertigo, but don't let that fool you. The 60s are indeed swinging, and vintage London is lovingly created, but this is indecently empty entertainment. And I'm guessing this is someone who doesn't really like Edgar Wright in general, and also this is someone who doesn't like Dune, so I'm not really taking his opinion with much gravitas. Anyway, let's move on to this review from The Guardian. Okay, Last Night in Soho review: a gaudy romp that's stupidly enjoyable. Edgar Wright's time travel film played like a 60s pop song, building towards a big climax. That sounds really interesting. It's going to be the first paragraph here. The nostalgia gauge is cold red on Last Night in Soho, a gaudy time traveling romp that whisks its modern day heroine to a bygone London that probably never existed outside our favoured cultural imagination. It's the year of Dusty Springfield and Bilber. Great music, cool threads. And if this film's got great music, I'll be really excited. British writer director Edgar Wright takes a bag of 96 ingredients, paints them up, and makes them dance to his tune. His film is solely silly and stupidly enjoyable. To misquote William Faulkner, I don't know what his name is there. Okay, the past isn't dead, it's propping up the bar at the Café de Paris. So, there's a really good review from The Guardian there, and it looks like it's generally getting a positive reception. However, not getting amazing reception, it's just getting a generally positive reception. But you know what? That's fine, and that's what I kind of expected this one to get. I mean, when I first read the reviews, I was a bit like, oh no, a bad Edgar Wright film? We haven't had one yet, in my opinion. And now this might be our first bad Edgar Wright film. I don't think it actually is. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it is gonna be a first bad Edgar Wright film. In fact, a couple of days ago now, I read another review which actually said that the film was actually a bit all over the place in terms of its head. It's like its heart was in the right place, but its head was all over the place. And you know what that made me immediately think of? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. If anyone's actually seen Scott Pilgrim, which is on Netflix by the way, go and check it out if you haven't already. Amazing film in my opinion. Pardon me there. But, you know, Scott Pilgrim, its head is all over the place. But, you know, what makes that film work is its heart is in the right place, and that's what Edgar Wright always goes back to. And if the same happens here, I'm not going to mind, actually. I'll be really intrigued to see what I think of this movie, because it sounds like a lot of people are really liking it, especially Edgar Wright fans, which is good, because I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan, and it sounds like it's going to be an Edgar Wright movie, just not for everyone. And bear in mind, I'll take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because this is only from Venice Film Festival. Bear in mind, Venice Film Festival is quite a prestigious film festival, and I think sometimes people are just looking for something to dislike, and I think maybe that's what's happened last night in Soho, and maybe that's what's happened with Dune as well, because Dune isn't actually getting the best reactions either, and so maybe that's why Last Night in Soho isn't getting the best reception, but it's not getting a bad one either. Let's just remind people here, this movie does currently still hold a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, you know, pretty high still. The majority of people are really liking this movie and really digging it, and that's great. You know, I'm a huge Edgar Wright fan, and I hope I'm part of that 77% or whatever percent, you know, the audience score gets when this movie comes out. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. This is one of my most anticipated movies for this year. Funny enough, it comes out the same day as Dune, actually, which I'm talking about next. I'm talking about Dune next in this live stream. But yeah, even so, it sounds like the movie isn't for everyone, but it sounds like it is for people who are Edgar Wright fans. I'm an Edgar Wright fan. I'm very, very excited to see this movie, although it isn't for everyone, and I think we all have to bear that in mind. But I don't think every Edgar Wright film is for everyone. I think what makes Edgar Wright such an amazing director is that his movie is so different. It's that his movies are so different. Everyone's movies are so different, and I know a lot of people out there who don't like Scott Pilgrim. Personally, I think it's a masterpiece. So you know, I think that's what the movie could be. I think it could split audiences, but if it's anything like Scott Pilgrim, you know, in terms of its reception, I think I'm gonna quite like it. That's what I'm just thinking overall. But hopefully it's great. Hopefully the score goes up in Rotten Tomatoes. In fact, it actually has. I looked at the score on Rotten Tomatoes yesterday, and like I showed you guys before, it's a 77% right now. And I looked at the score yesterday, and it was 73%. So actually, the score has gone up in Rotten Tomatoes. Not gone up a lot, but it's gone up, which is good, which is more than I can say for other movies that I've seen on Rotten Tomatoes before as well, which have actually gone down with their ratings, but actually Last Night in Soho has gone up. So hopefully I really like it. The reviews seem relatively positive right now, and hopefully it really surprises us and it's like one of the best movies this year. I generally think it could be, but I'm still a bit worried just with the somewhat negative views in there, but I'm still holding out hope. And so that's the end of topic number 4 on this live stream for today. So, but just before I go into topic number 5, I'm just gonna have a quick drink of water. So just give me a second. I'm not glad I needed that. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to topic number 5 on this live stream for today. And topic number 5 on the live stream today is a continuation of the topic it's a continuation of topic number 4. And basically, topic number 5 is all about Dune's early reactions, or Dune. I'm gonna call it Dune. Should I call it Dune or Dune? I don't even know how to refer to it as. I'm going to call it Dune for the sake of this live stream today. I might be saying it wrong. Do let me know in the comment section if I have been saying it wrong. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the early reactions for Dune. So Dune is actually coming out on the same day that Last Night in Soho comes out. I want to say it's October 22nd, actually. I said Last Night in Soho comes out on October the 5th. 15th. I think it's actually coming out on October the 22nd, because I think Dune comes out on the same day. So by the way, that's a film lover's dream day, because Wes Anderson's film, Wes Anderson's new film, The French Dispatch, Edgar Wright's new film, Last Night in Soho, and Denis Villeneuve's new film Dune, which is also based on one of the most best-selling sci-fi novels of all time, are all coming out on the same day. So imagine how fantastic that day is going to be. Honestly, I'll be going to the cinema all day that day. I generally will be. Of course, if I'm not actually at uni, but if I'm not at uni that day, I'll be going to the cinema all day to go watch all 3 films. Honestly, I'm very excited to see The French Dispatch, Wes Anderson's new film. Very, very excited to see Last Night in Soho, which we've just talked about. And I'm very, very excited to see this film as well. Now, the film premiered at Venice Film Festival. And like I said before, always secret winners don't want to premiere at something like Venice Film Festival, because what you're going to find is that people there, pardon me, what you're going to find there's people there that are just looking to dislike something, because they want to be different. They don't want to like everything there. They actually want to complain about things quite a lot of the time. Quite a lot of the time, critics, and I'm a culprit here. I mean, I'm not saying I'm a critic, but I have reviewed films on this channel. But I'm a bit of a culprit here as well. Sometimes I watch a film and I just kind of want to complain about parts of it. And I do actually think all the best film reviewers out there, all the best critics, what I want to say, I do actually think that all the best film reviewers out there will look at a film they love and say something bad about it, and look at a film they hate and say something really good about it. So that's always what I try to do. So even so, some film critics out there are saying bad things about certain movies, I think maybe it's just because they're trying to be different and just trying to do something different than everyone else. But so far, it looks like Dune is getting relatively positive early reaction. So we jump onto Google here. It looks like Dune has an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's actually really good. That's gone up from yesterday. Yesterday, it got 83% on Rotten Tomatoes, and now it's an 86%. So that's gone up. Let's see what some of the reviews are saying down below. By the way, this film's got a huge cast. Look at this cast. You have Timothée Chalamet in there. You have Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Jason Momoa. I think Javier Bardem's in there. Zendaya is also in there as well. Big cast. Also, this one's been directed by Denis Villeneuve. We don't know who Denis Villeneuve is. He also directed, Prisoners, a Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal film, which came out, I want to say, in 2013. Great film, by the way. He also directed Blade Runner 2049, which I enjoyed quite a lot. He also directed The Arrival as well, which is another film with, Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner, which is a great film. And he's done some fantastic movies, and he's doing this film as well. He said this is like the film he's always wanted to do. The film's got a great cast, plenty more that I just haven't said, but like I said there, Timothée Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Stellan Skarsgård, Jason Momoa, Zendaya, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, big cast. There's a lot riding in this film. Hans Zimmer's doing the score. And now let's see what some of the early reviews are saying. So here's David Jenkins, someone who didn't like Last Night in Soho, as I remember. Let's see what he says. In the main, it's a stately film, exacting an elegant. I'm never going to read that review. I got bored of it already. Okay, let's see what some of the reviews are saying. Dune lacks the spellbinding visuals of Villeneuve's last foray into sci-fi, 2017's noir Blade Runner 2049. That was a good review. Okay. Oh, let's see what bad review says there. So this is from David Katz. Looks like it's Katz. Denis Villeneuve has surmounted this slew of bad omens biography in filmmaking terms, making the most impersonal adaptation possible. Okay, so he didn't like it. Okay, let's see what some other reviews are saying. Denis Villeneuve has managed the impossible. Dune is an intelligent and satisfying film adaptation with the depth and scale it deserves, and it's great fun too. That sounds good. Let's see what another good review is saying as well. There's plenty to savour in this version, but ultimately though, it's a bit of a frustrating watch as it's very much a story half told. I'm going to talk about that again a bit later in this video, actually. This half-told thing, because I know a lot of reviews are saying that, actually. And by the way, that was still a positive review. He still gave it a 3 out of 5. That's from Ian Sandwell. He still gave it a 3 out of 5, but he sounded quite negative on it overall. But anyway, let's talk about some of the early reactions we're saying before that. Anyway, some of the early reactions we're saying is is this a Dune we've always wanted? Denis Villeneuve's movie is a film interpretation that fans have been waiting to see for decades. I haven't read the books that this movie is based on, but my god, the trailers look great, and I've been very excited for it, particularly because it's Denis Villeneuve. You have this fantastic cast in there, and it looks like it'll be another Lord of the Rings, which I'll be talking about a bit later in this live stream as well. But anyway, let's move on to some other reactions here. The Missing Link, Bridging the Multiverse, and the Art House. Good heavens, what a film! Good heavens, what a film. For all its amazing imagery and an A-list stars and very cool interpretations of the nerd aspects of Herbert's book, this version of Dune doesn't fully coalescence. I'm guessing that guy didn't really like that much. And let's read another review here. For science fiction devotees, especially those who have long worshipped Frank Herbert's dense Tom Villeneuve's Dune is the adaptation you've always dreamed of. So it sounds like it's a movie fans have wanted to. I haven't watched David Lynch's version, so I'm not going to go on about that. Is it a satisfying adaptation? This first chapter explores a very complex and detailed story with clarity and style. More importantly, it does so without sacrificing the impressive detail of Frank Herbert's original vision. Denis Villeneuve and his collaborators have cracked the code with their approach, extraordinary its ability to directly translate the source material across mediums without compromise. So apparently it's a good satisfying adaptation, and at the same time though, I'm going to read some comments from here. Is it okay if you haven't read the book? Thankfully, Dune isn't particularly hard to follow. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Though there's plenty to establish, Villeneuve makes surprisingly light work of it. Dune is never as formidable as it threatens to be. The script does a good job with exposition without making it seem like exposition. But by the same token, there may not be any reason for you not to be interested in Dune if you're not a science fiction movie person anyway. I am a science fiction movie person. I don't love science fiction, but I do like a good science fiction film, like whether it's Star Wars or I am quite enjoyed the Star Trek films recently, but there's lots of science fiction films out there I've really enjoyed, and this sounds like it could be another one. If you come in not knowing the difference between a Holtzman shield and a hole in the floor, it's a longer walk. Don't know what that means. It's not a film that requires any familiarity with the source material. It stretches in the early part of Dune, a layman's terms guide to Herbert's incredibly intricate and uniquely realized universe. So it sounds like it's a film you don't have to worry about if you haven't read the books. I think you could go into this film actually if you haven't read the books and still quite enjoy it, you're going to say. Okay, let's move on to Variety. What Variety is saying here anyway. I've actually got a trailer for Shang-Chi there. I don't want that. Okay, let's see what Variety is saying. Dune early reviews called Denis Villeneuve's film both brilliant and disappointing. Oh no. The first reviews for Denis Villeneuve's Dune are in, and the auctions are split. So let's see what people are saying. So this is what Variety said. A review on their own thing. Okay, Gilberman, I don't even know what the guy's name is there, wrote that Dune is spectacular and engrossing until it isn't. Here's one useful definition of a great sci-fi fantasy film. It's one in which the world building is awesome but not more essential than the storytelling. In the first few Star Wars films, those dynamics were in a perfect sync. They were as well in the Dark Knight and the Mad Max films. Blade Runner in its way is an amazing movie, but its world building packs more punch than its transcendental neo-noir noodlings. Viewed in that light, Dune is a movie that earns 5 stars for world building and about 2.5 for storytelling. So it sounds like this one's a bit light in its story, which is fine. I'll be talking about that again a bit later in this live stream. IndieWire. This is what the guy says from IndieWire. For all of Villeneuve's awe-inducing vision, he loses sight of why Frank Herbert's foundational sci-fi opus is worthy of this epic spectacle in the first place. Such are the pitfalls of making a movie so large that not even its director can see around the sets. Okay, let's see what some overviews say here. I'm going to go down to more of these overviews again. Okay, Empire. That's not to say that the reviews were overwhelmingly negative. Empire Travis seemed truly thrilled by the ride and is hoping for a sequel. An absorbing, awe-inspiringly huge adaptation of half of Frank Herbert's novel that will wow existing acolytes and get newcomers hooked on its spice-fueled visions. If Part 2 never happens, it will be a travesty. And let's see what another review happens here. The Independent. This was The Independent says Chris Rowley. Oh no, I've actually watched it before in previous YouTube videos anyway. But anyway, this is what Clarice Lowry said. Lowry found lots to love in the new adaptation, tweeting that Dune absolutely fucking slaps. Pardon my friends there. Villeneuve's Dune is a sandworm exploding out from the darkness below. It's a film it is a film of such literal and emotional largeness that it overwhelms the senses. If all goes well, it should ring grey like that. You get the point. They really like the film as well. And let's see what some other people are saying here in another article. The Guardian. Dune is dense, moody, and quite often sublime. The missing link bridging the multiplex and the art house. And then they also went on to say that it tells us that the big budget spectaculars don't have to be dumb or hyperactive. That it's possible to allow the odd quiet passage amid the explosions. And then if you read on to another one from Entertainment Weekly, the sheer awesomeness of Villeneuve's execution, there might not be another film like like that this year, or ever that turns one character asking another for a glass of water into a kind of walloping psychedelic performance art, often obscures the fact that the plot is mostly prologue, a sprawling origin story with no fixed beginning or end. Now, I'm fine with that actually, because one of the things I'm really looking forward to about this movie is the fact that it could be like a new Lord of the Rings, if you get what I'm saying. And my mum and dad always tell us about when they go and watch the first Lord of the Rings, and they saw it before, the Two Towers and Return of the King, and they watched the end of the Fellowship of the Ring, and they're like, okay, where's the story going now? There's an incomplete story there, and I feel that the same thing may happen with Dune. Like, I think a lot of people are going to like this movie, but I do think a lot of people at the same time might say it has an incomplete story, and maybe the same thing be going on here. The same thing, the Fellowship of the Ring, when you go watch that movie, you might come out of it going, okay, it has a bit of an incomplete story, but then, if Dune 2 ever happens, if a sequel to Dune ever happens, then, it'll feel more complete in its story and whatnot. And pardon me there. So I think that's going to happen with Dune, and I'm happy about that. I'm hoping Dune gets a sequel. Pardon me there again. I'm hoping soon Dune gets a sequel, because I'd love to see the story complete. I'd love to see, where this story goes. Even if it is more of a prologue to this film, and that I'm fine with that, as long as it's really entertaining and it's a really immersive experience. One of the things I do love about Lord of the Rings films and the Hobbit films, for that matter, is that they are immersive. You go into those films and you listen to how it's shot score. You see these spectacular visuals. You see New Zealand in those films, and it's so immersive. And I hope the same thing happens with Dune. I hope you hear has a score in there, and it's really immersive to the world, as well as Denis Villeneuve's fantastic visuals. And I hope that immerses you into the world of Dune. But at the same time, though, I'm a bit worried about the story. Maybe this film is a bit loud in the story, and that's fine if it is. But I hope we get a Dune 2 then, because that actually might make this film look better. Like, imagine if Dune 2 came out. Like, I was thinking Empire Strikes Back makes A New Hope look better, and maybe a similar thing might happen here with Dune 2. I'm not saying, Dune 2 is like the Empire Strikes Back of the Dune franchise, although it might be. Maybe Dune 2 is actually is going to be absolutely amazing if it ever happens, although I do think Warner Bros. Have actually shot themselves in the foot here, because of the whole day release thing that's happening with this movie, which will automatically decrease the box office of this movie. Like, there's no secret, by the way, why Shang-Chi and Free Guy have got so much, have earned so much of the box office, because of theatrical only release films. That's why those movies have done really, really well at the box office, because Shang-Chi, you can watch on any streaming service. You can watch Shang-Chi in 45 days on Disney Plus, but you can't watch it at the moment on any streaming services. And at the same time, though, that's the same with Free Guy. That's the reason that those movies are doing so well at the box office. I might not love those movies, I might not even really like those movies, but there's a reason they're doing so well, and there's a reason that films like Black Widow, and there's a reason that films like The Suicide Squad bombed at the box office, because they were doing the day-and-day release thing on HBO Max. And that is worrying about Dune. The fact that it is doing a day-and-day release thing, and the fact that it may not get the best box office because people had the option to watch it at home for free. Bear in mind, HBO Max is not charging people in America to watch it at home. They can watch it for free. And this is a movie which, Legendary Pictures have spent up to like $200 million to make. And it may not get the best box office, which isn't the best, I'm not going to lie. But nevertheless, the reviews sound great. And maybe if the positive word of mouth gets out about this film, then maybe a lot more people go to see it at the cinemas than actually they thought they were going to. And then if that happens, then, fingers crossed, we get a Dune sequel. And hopefully we do in the end, because I'd love to see where the story goes. But still, I'm not holding on to too much hope, because, Dune could bomb. It could bomb at the box office. I know that's not what I'm talking about, but I do think, like I said before, HBO Max have shot themselves in the foot with this film and its box office. But nevertheless, it sounds like the reviews are positive. Fingers crossed it's a great movie, and fingers crossed I feel like I do. Fingers crossed I feel as positive about this film as all these other positive reviews are saying, and fingers crossed I'm not one of the negative reviews out there. I really want to go into this movie and absolutely adore it. I really want Dune to be like the next Lord of the Rings. I want to grow up with the Dune franchise. That's what I want to. Well, not necessarily grow up, but I want to be around when the Dune franchise is taking place. Like, I was never around when the Lord of the Rings franchise was taking place. I was around when the Hobbit franchise was taking place, but it wasn't exactly the same love that the Lord of the Rings was getting, although I do actually love the Hobbit films. But, I was around when, I want to be around when, Dune is taking place, and these spectacular, award-winning films hopefully get released. I do think Dune, if it goes well, it could be an Oscar-winning movie. but we'll have to wait and see until it comes out later on this year. So that's the end of my fifth and final main topic for today. Or might be my final main topic. I don't even know. It's so hot right now. I can't even think straight. But thank you for watching this live. I consider actually one person watching this live. Hello to that one person watching this live. Thank you for watching live if you have. And if you're watching playback, thank you as well. Thank you as always for watching. And if you haven't yet, please click down below and like subscribe on this live stream. And remember, if you have a topic you want me to talk about in my next live stream, please you let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to get some suggestions of topics to talk about in my next live stream or this live stream after that. So please you let me know in the comment section below if you have a topic you want me to talk about in my next live stream. But until then, guys, thank you as always for watching. But see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, see you guys again soon. But bye for now. Bye.